Hey, Nintendo, we gotta talk. Come over here, buddy. Yeah, just a little closer. Don't be afraid. Just just a little closer. Come here. I just want to talk.
Yeah, I had to pull a Will Smith and slap the bejesus out of Nintendo. I think you and I both know where this discussion is going. Let's get on with the topic of today's video, shall we? If you thought I was done absolutely railing on Nintendo, oh, you thought dead wrong. So buckle up, everybody, because here it comes again. At this point, Nintendo is like the Disney equivalent of Scrooge McDuck, just absolutely trying to milk every single one of their player bases for all of the money they have owned. And at this point, I'm just absolutely baffled to see the corporate greed levels of Nintendo just skyrocket beyond this planet. And at this point, if you think that they're going to lower the prices at this point, they're not going to. As a matter of fact, I don't even think Nintendo ever lowers the prices on any of their games. Games like Super Mario Odyssey that came out on the Switch 8 years ago is still being sold for a full $60. Even crappy games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are still being sold for full price. And if you think that's bad, the Joy-Cons and like the Pro controllers for the first Nintendo Switch are still being sold for like $60 or $70, which is still very expensive. And if you think that's bad, it gets even worse than that. So, you remember games like Breath of the Wild, right? Well, apparently that's also going to be available on the Switch too, but it's going to cost even more money. That is absolutely ridiculous for a game that they have launched like 8 years ago at the start of the Switch's life cycle. I've heard reports somewhere online where it doesn't even come with a DLC for the game. So you have to buy the $70 game separately, and you have to buy the DLCs separately as well if you want to get it for the game. So if you get the game and the two DLCs with Breath of the Wild, that's going to be a total of, I believe, $90 fucking dollars. That is absolutely insane for an 8-year-old game. Now, I've made this joke already once or twice about Nintendo in my last couple of videos talking about them, but it still sums up Nintendo perfectly right now. Just how much alcohol have these dumbasses been drinking over there at the Nintendo headquarters? Like, at this point, they're just saying to everyone, hold my beer, watch this. And then they keep face planting onto the concrete ground over and over, and people are pointing and laughing at them like the dumbasses they are. And it just makes me think, like, what is going on over there with Nintendo? Now, there might be a salty Nintendo fanboy in my comments that try to tell me, but Nightwing, they're coming out with a couple new things that the Switch 1 did not have. They're gonna have a new camera, they're gonna have FaceTime, they're gonna make game chat part of the Switch 2. Stop being so mean, Nightwing. This is gonna be revolutionary for the Switch 2. And to that, I just say, I don't care about all that stuff for the Switch 2. Which, speaking of which, that's going to lead on to my next point. The Switch 2 features. Something that Nintendo Switch 1 doesn't have. Which I'm going to absolutely roast the hell out of as well. So, let's get on with that part, shall we? So, I'm already getting Xbox One vibes by looking at the Nintendo camera here, and yes, you can also FaceTime your friends, and you can also screen share your games in the background, which looks god awful at like 5 frames a second. And yet Nintendo thinks this is going to be some revolutionary thing for the whole gaming industry because they have a built-in microphone and they have a crappy looking all mounted camera, and they have FaceTime, and they got like 5 frames a second screen share gameplay, and they think this is gonna be crazy. I don't know if Nintendo knows this, but there's a thing called Xbox Party Chat, and there's a thing called PlayStation Party Chat, which we had back on like the Xbox 360 and PS3 era of gaming consoles. And Nintendo thinks that screen sharing is also gonna be something insane. I don't know if Nintendo knows this, but there's a gaming app out there called Discord, and you can use that for party chat with your friends, and you can use it whenever you're playing on Xbox, PlayStation, or even PC. And you can stream your games and you can screen share your games, and it looks far better than the Switch 2 screen share given this presentation. Like, Nintendo is just playing catch up like they always do. They're falling behind in terms of like gaming technology because they're trying to show off all these amazing things for the Switch 2, but yet companies like Microsoft and Sony have already had this stuff with their PS5 and their Xbox Series X and S and like their PS4 and Xbox Ones or whatever. Nintendo is just playing catch up. That's all they're doing. They're just playing catch up and falling behind. When it comes to sequels for Nintendo, it's just a mixed bag. We have the gaming console for the Wii, which was amazing, and then we had the Wii U, which was Nintendo's worst selling console of all time, and then we have the Nintendo Switch, which is Nintendo's best selling console of all time, and now we have the Switch 2, which already is getting a lot of backlash, and not a lot of people are really happy with it. So it just seems like we're heading for another Wii U situation, and it's not looking good for Nintendo. So, with this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. And until next time, I'm still avoiding the Nintendo Switch 2, and I will see you all later.